Let's get started here. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Sean with Down Payment Resource. We also have Melinda Harris in the background, who will be monitoring our Q&A. So as we go, if you have questions, we also have Tracy McIntosh from our team as well. So we've got a couple people in the background that are monitoring the Zoom Q&A for questions. So if you have any questions as we go or comments, put them in the Zoom Q&A feature if you don't mind. The chat gets pretty busy and it's hard to keep tabs on that. So keep it interactive. If you have any questions, comments, success stories with DPAs, we love those stories. We want to tell those stories and spread the word about how to do this right, how to do more of these programs, and how to help more people. With that, today's topic is growing your first-time homebuyer business. In particular, we're going to focus on Down Payment Connect, one of the tools that many of you already have for free through your MLS if you're a real estate agent, or some of you also subscribe to the tool. If you're not a member of one of our MLS partners, or if you're a loan officer. So we're going to talk about engaging with and educating consumers specifically around the availability of down payment assistance programs. And we're also going to talk a lot about the Down Payment Connect tool, how it works, what it does, what it can do for you, and the path to home ownership that it potentially opens up for more buyers. So the latter half of this webinar is going to be dedicated to lead generation and showing you examples of how your peers around the country are leveraging the tool in order to do that. Again, I'm Sean Moss with Down Payment Resource. Melinda and Tracy are in the background. Use the Zoom Q&A feature to add any questions or comments, and we'll save some time at the end for Q&A as well. A little bit about us. We've been around for 15 years, over 15 years, and we're based out of Atlanta, but we've got team members all over the country. We are essentially a national database and a matching engine of all of the more than 2,300 homeownership programs around the country for down payment assistance, closing cost help, tax credits, affordable first mortgages, and much more. We integrate that information into MLSs. We'll talk about and show you who our MLS partners are, so that when you're looking at listings inside your MLS, you can also see if that property is eligible for any homebuyer assistance programs, and your clients can see that as well. Plus, if you're a member of one of our partner MLSs, you have a number of other tools for free as part of that partnership. And if you're not, we have a Down Payment Connect tool that helps agents and loan officers connect buyers with down payment assistance, and also connect you with more information and more programs out there for you and your clients. Ultimately, then, we are here to help you connect home buyers to the down payment help they need. Now, today, we're going to specifically talk about the state of down payment assistance and the impact of these programs. We're going to talk briefly about the first-time homebuyer market opportunity as we see it. And then most of this webinar is actually dedicated to, quite frankly, my favorite part, educating buyers about down payments, enhancing your marketing and expanding your reach with Down Payment Connect by showing you how your peer agents and loan officers all over the country are broaching the topic and presenting DPAs to consumers in creative and compelling ways, and starting new conversations with prospective and interested buyers. So, the state of down payment assistance, what's going on with these programs? We have another webinar that really breaks this down in more detail, but I'll give you a quick overview. Of all of the 2,300 plus programs around the country, 3/4 of them are some form of down payment and closing cost assistance. That category breaks down further by repayment type. 87% of DPAs are deferred loans, meaning you don't have a monthly payment when you close. It's deferred for some period of time, often the life of the first mortgage. 58% of down payment assistance programs are forgivable loans, meaning that if you stay in the property as your primary residence for some period of time, you get the benefit of forgivable down payment assistance. And then, of course, you have grants, which are true gifts at closing, and you have repayable second mortgages, which come with a repayment that kicks off immediately, just like the first mortgage. So there are a number of different kinds of down payment assistance. And again, we have a separate webinar that gets into a lot more detail about that. But we also track all of the affordable first mortgage loans from your state housing finance agencies, sometimes local housing finance agencies, that can offer some other unique benefits like higher LTV financing or reduced mortgage insurance costs or even below market interest rates. We also track mortgage credit certificates where they are available. Now, there's not a mortgage credit certificate in every state, but where they are available, they are excellent tax credit benefits that are good annually for the life of the loan that they came with. So that's most of homebuyer assistance, but there are some other programs like matched savings programs, housing choice vouchers, and so forth that we do track and monitor. So all of that is to say, most of the programs we're talking about when we say homebuyer assistance or DPA, they are actually down payment and closing cost assistance programs. But there are other types of homebuyer assistance, so be mindful of that and be aware of those programs in your market, and also be aware of the kinds of things that down payment assistance programs can help with. It's not just down payment. Most often also closing costs, sometimes prepaids. Increasingly more, we're seeing programs allow down payment assistance programs allow the funds to be used toward interest rate buy downs or offsetting mortgage insurance costs. So there are a lot of ways that these programs can help. Now, where do they come from? There is literally no market in the country where there isn't some form of homebuyer assistance, in part or primarily because every state has at least one state housing finance agency, and their programs are available statewide. And then you layer in all of the municipal and nonprofit and other types of programs at the local level, and there ends up being a lot of opportunity in a lot of markets. So, and actually, back to that real quick, these programs also have income limits and purchase price limits that are market adjusted. So yes, the income limits are higher in California, Florida, New York than they are elsewhere. The assistance amounts can also be higher as well. So regardless of whether you're in a high cost market or a urban versus rural market, coastal versus inland market, there are programs everywhere, and we can help you uncover what those are. We are seeing that demand for down payment assistance is through the roof. I'm sure that many of you on this webinar today can account for that or can validate that. We're also seeing that down payment assistance providers, especially in the last few years, have continued to enhance their programs with more assistance dollars, higher income limits, and higher purchase price limits to keep up with rising prices, most recently rising interest rates and demand for these programs, and also to keep the door open for more buyers or more aspiring buyers. We are also seeing that for every quarter going back more than 2 years, there has been an increase in the net number of homebuyer assistance programs available. So more and more programs are hitting the market, as well as the enhancements to these programs to try to keep the door open to higher incomes, higher prices, and offering more assistance. And nationwide, 83% of all down payment assistance programs or all homebuyer assistance programs are funded and available. That's a normal number. Some of these programs are seasonal, but the vast majority of them are funded and available at any given time. And that number is actually pretty consistent quarter over quarter, year over year. All of this is to say down payment assistance is absolutely still available, not going away. And with that, let's think for a moment about what home buyers need and what home buyers believe today, and then we're going to get into how to connect them with help. So for a moment, let's consider the mindset of a renter. Many of them want to stop renting. Now, the rise in interest rates has perhaps stalled their interest in home buying, but we want to make sure that's not for the wrong reasons. We know many of them are trying to save for a new home and often watching the goalposts move. And we know that many of them doubt they qualify or don't think they have enough saved. I'll come back to that last point in a moment, but bearing in mind the mindset of a renter, we also know that especially first-time home buyers, if not home buyers in general, need help navigating the home buying process. They need help getting pre-approved for a home loan. They need help comparing and understanding their mortgage options. And if they're going to use down payment assistance, they're going to need help. They're going to need to know that they have to complete a homebuyer education class, which quite frankly is going to make them a better client for you and better prepared for the home ownership journey, as well as not just the home buying journey, but the home ownership journey. They also need to cover their down payment and closing costs and navigate a market with limited inventory. And we'll see how this plays out in the next quarter or two or three or whatever, but continued increase in prices. So given all that, when we think about understanding mortgage options and down payment requirements, we know there are some misperceptions out there too. This is this was the result of a study that the Urban Institute did in 2018. Now you might think, oh, well, lots happened since. Right. But we still see this. You guys see this stuff in the news all the time. This is just one study that we participated in, but part of it was interviewing millennial renters at the time, so under 40 basically, and they were renting, and asking them questions about their home ownership journey or obstacles. When asked what the biggest barrier to home ownership was, 68% of those renters said it was the down payment. Not surprising, right? When asked how much they thought they needed to have in down payment in order to buy a home, 65%, almost 2/3, thought they had to have a down payment of 15% or 20% or more. So we have to dispel this 20% myth. Yes, it's nice to have 20% if you want to avoid mortgage insurance, but you don't have to have 20% down to buy a home. We all know that. Problem is, aspiring home buyers don't know that. And then lastly, when asked if they were familiar with low down payment mortgages, meaning FHA, 3.5% down, conventional, 3%, 5% down, VA, USDA, 100% LTV, 0 down, right? 76%, more than 3/4 of them had little or no familiarity with those low down payment mortgages, which of course you can imagine fuels this misperception that you have to have 20% down. So bearing all that in mind, we all need to hop on the bandwagon. Home buyers need help, especially with rising interest rates. Real estate agents need loan officers who do DPA well, and we'll talk about that a little more as we go, but keep this in mind. It's already happened in chat and in the Q&A, and this is always the case. The most common question we get from real estate agents is, how do I find a loan officer who meets these 3 requirements, offers DPA, is good at DPA, and wants my business from buyers who are using down payment assistance? Then, of course, loan officers need purchase apps. There are no refis right now, right? For the most part. So putting all that together, there are ways we can team up to serve more buyers. But again, we have another webinar dedicated kind of to this slide where we talk about building these partnerships and overcoming misperceptions and cutting through the red tape and getting through obstacles when it comes to working with down payment assistance. But today, we're going to focus on connecting buyers to down payment help and how you can do it by learning from how your peers are doing it. So when we talk about Down Payment Connect and really a full-on integration of our down payment assistance program information into your listings, here are our MLS partners. You already have Down Payment Connect if you are a member of one of these MLSs. Now, Kansas City Association is not the MLS. We're working on Heartland, more to come there. California Association is not an MLS, but CRMLS is a customer. And then also NYSAR in New York is obviously not an MLS, but One Key is a partner. And we're always working on more partnerships. But if you're a member of one of the MLSs listed here, you have Down Payment Connect for free as part of our partnership with the MLS. And you also have down payment assistance data integrated into your listings, such that when you're looking at the listing detail views or single line views, depending on your MLS system or both, you'll see a down payment badge that looks like this, the $ with the check mark, on eligible listings. And when you click it, we tell you which programs are available for that property based on location, price, property type, and some other factors. So again, if you're a member of one of these MLSs, go get Down Payment Connect. Here are a few ways that might look for you. Can't put screenshots up here of every MLS, but generally speaking, go to your MLS dashboard or your Matrix dashboard or your sort of third-party services dashboard and look for the down payment resource button. These are just 2 screenshots. Again, it's going to look different for a lot of you, but that's what you're looking for if you're a member of one of our MLS partners. Click that. You'll end up on your down payment resource dashboard. And the first thing waiting for you on that page is your Down Payment Connect link. If you subscribe to Down Payment Connect, you'll have a dashboard like this with your link at the top as well. That also comes with marketing resources that includes customizable flyers, social media images, graphics libraries, video tutorials, recorded webinars, and more to help you get started. And you'll see examples of especially these graphics libraries being used in some of the sample kind of implementations that we're gonna look at. But just real quick, let me recap what Down Payment Connect is. Whether you subscribe or you have it for free, real estate agents and loan officers, you all get your personalized lead generation landing page. There's no limit to the traffic or the leads that you can drive to or get from that page. You're not paying us for leads. I'll get to that in a moment. Loan officers, if you subscribe to Down Payment Connect, you also get a directory of all of the programs in your state. Agents, if you're a member of one of our MLSs, you have that as well. Loan officers, if you subscribe to Down Payment Connect, you also get to control or customize which homebuyer assistance programs display to borrowers. So you're only promoting the programs you have access to or can originate. You also get a back office eligibility widget to search and compare programs yourself, which again, agents, if you're a member of one of our MLSs, you also have. So basically, this tool is designed to help you educate and engage buyers outside the MLS, outside the LOS, in your email, website, blog, social media, email signature, newsletters, even in print. So there are a lot of ways you can use the tool, and you're going to see a ton of them here in just a moment. But the point of this tool is to let a prospective buyer do a search for down payment assistance. Actually, let me step back. First of all, you're letting them know that these programs are even out there, that down payment assistance exists, and then letting them do a search to see what's available, where they want to buy a home. But rather than show the consumer a bunch of details about, a deferred forgivable second mortgage, we just throw up a contact form, they fill it out, that drives a lead to you and only you. And we'll talk about leads in just a moment. The goal here is to help you tap into growth markets, tap into aspiring buyers, use it in digital marketing campaigns, use it in, email marketing, use it on social media. And you also get the details of all the programs in your market so you can see what's out there and study up and learn on the programs that are available to you and to your clients. So if you do not have Down Payment Connect because you're not a member of one of our MLS partners, you can go to downpaymentresource.com/DPC and subscribe there. If you are a member of one of those MLS partners, don't subscribe. You have it for free. Now, as far as the leads, we get asked these questions. Whether you have the free version through your MLS or you subscribe to Down Payment Connect, you are generating your own leads through that tool. You're not paying for them. You're not buying leads from us. You're using or subscribing to a tool that gives you a landing page that you can put out wherever you want in as many places as you want to generate those leads for yourself. They are exclusive to you. They do not go into a carousel. They're not sold off to anyone else. Nobody else is copied. They're yours and yours alone. So now that we've laid the groundwork for what Down Payment Connect is, it's a lead gen tool you can use in all your marketing to let consumers search. Let's look at examples of how agents and loan officers around the country are using Down Payment Connect. How are they presenting it on their website, in social media, in email marketing, video, all of this. So I'm gonna jump into some examples here in some screens. Some of these, though, there's more context than what I can provide in a screenshot. So I actually have more live examples that we're going to look at once we get through some of these. But let's lay the groundwork here. Some basics and also some pretty cool, pretty creative ways of letting the consumer know that down payment assistance is out there, giving them a path to search for that help through your Down Payment Connect tool, and doing it in a creative, engaging way that compels them to conversation, which is what we want to do. We want them to connect to you around the topic of down payment assistance and how that can open up the door to home ownership. So Brian here, this is his home page. Right below his bio on the home page, you see he's got a paragraph about down payment assistance, a button that says click here, and a down payment resource graphic out to the left, both of which are links to his Down Payment Connect page. So again, all of this is about how do I get them into that search so I can generate that lead from Down Payment Connect. This is super simple. Just a little content bar on his homepage, a couple sentences about down payment assistance, and a button to access his Down Payment Connect tool. Susan has a page on her website dedicated to down payment assistance. And instead of linking to the search form, she actually embedded it in that page. So just using a simple iframe, she embedded the down payment search on the page. When the consumer completes the search, they're still on Susan's website. Those first two examples, by the way, were out of Metro Atlanta, but we're going to move around the country. Angela here just added a down payment assistance link to her website navigation menu. So you can see at the top that's been clicked on. It's sort of in a dark gray background, down payment assistance. Just add it to your website. We'll look at some more examples of this too, by the way. Super simple way to get started. And she actually framed it into a page on her website as well. But easy way to get started. Just add it to your website navigation menu. This is an example of a team in Seattle who has a page dedicated to down payment assistance educational content. And you can see at the top, it's under advice for buyers in the website navigation menu. So among the resources they offer to buyers is education about down payment assistance. And there's actually more on this page. There's a lot more content, and then the search form, the Down Payment Connect form at the bottom. But that's like an educational play, right? Let me give prospective buyers, let me give my website visitors some content to self-educate. Here we have an example. We'll look at this one live too, because as with the last example, this team in Richmond, Virginia, has a ton of content below what you can see in the screenshot that offers more information and context about down payment assistance. But they start the page here with a video about DPA programs. DPA, again, being down payment assistance. So they produce the video, and then they go on to add a bunch of context and content that educates those website visitors about DPAs, how to qualify, geography, profession, home ownership history, various things that impact their qualification, and various facts about some of the programs available in their market. This is an example of kind of an intake approach. So think for a moment what you provide to or ask of. What's the homework for a brand new client? This is from Austin, Texas. This broker in Austin, Texas, Raul. We'll look at another example of his in a moment. But when he first got into real estate out of the military, you'll see in a moment he had sort of a drip campaign, like an FAQ style campaign. But new clients, when they came on board, were given this checklist. The first few things they need to do were find out what you can afford, including researching down payment assistance and understanding your cash to close situation. Step 2, have that conversation with a loan officer to get pre-approved for a loan. And then, of course, let's go find the home. So think about what your new client intake process looks like. What's their homework? What are you providing to them? And are you discussing cash to close, solutions to the down payment obstacle, and mortgage pre-qualification? And that can directly speak to some of the issues that we uncovered earlier. Misperceptions about down payment requirements and lack of familiarity with first mortgage options and low down payment first mortgage options. Now here we move into email marketing. So this is an example of a loan officer who in their email signature has the kinds of things that you might expect from a loan officer. Apply now, upload your docs, contact me. But below that, you can see that he's got a button that says down payment money is available. See if you're eligible. Great way to make sure that anyone in receipt of an email from you has or becomes aware of the fact that down payment money is out there and that you can help them with it, and then also has access to perform the search and see what's available where they want to buy a home. So think about that too. Just adding a button in your email signature, letting people know these programs are out there and offering them that Down Payment Connect search experience. Social media ads and campaigns. So we're on Facebook here. Left side, Indianapolis. Right side, that's Raul in Texas, whose checklist we just looked at. So on the left, Marilyn found that when she ran ads, and we're not implying you need to go spend money on ads. This is just, again, one example of something creative and successful that your peers have done. But Marilyn ran ads, and you can see there's only 2 sentences. Many first-time home buyers qualify for down payment money. See if you qualify, and let's get shopping for your new home. And that would get clicked, and it would go off to Down Payment Connect, and she would generate leads. Creative approach, and it worked. Excuse me. So on the right side, we have Raul. Now, I mentioned when he first started in real estate, he came up with this sort of drip campaign. Basically, he started finding that a lot of new buyers were asking him the same questions over and over. So he created this drip campaign on social. It could be an email campaign where he would ask and answer those questions, and he would drip that out as new clients were onboarded and he started working with them. So of that 10-part FAQ series, question 6 was, when researching home loans, what is the best approach to look for down payment and closing cost assistance? And he offered some instruction and Down Payment Connect in order for agents to pursue that information. Cool ideas. Again, could be email, could be social media, could be, you could implement these in any number of ways. But these are, again, just 2 examples of social media engagement. Sticking with social media, Instagram. Here are a couple of posts. Left side, California, right side, Florida. And I'm showing you this stuff from all over the country, in part to show you that this isn't just your peers in one market that did it one time. Some of these go back years, and these are like successful creative examples that bubbled up in our analytics as getting more traffic or producing more leads. So on the left side, couple of sentences. Are you looking to buy a home but don't have the money saved up? With our down payment tool, you can see what's out there, do a search, and contact me today. On the right side, love this. So Bo is saying to people reading this post, hey, click the link in my bio to access down payment resource. See if you qualify to get down payment or closing cost help. Stop second guessing yourself and don't leave money on the table. Love it. And then he provides the link. So again, 2 creative approaches. These are both Instagram that could be adapted elsewhere. Email could be a call to action on the website, Facebook, and so forth, right? This one is one of my favorites. This is a team in Minneapolis, and there's a few things I want to point out here. The first thing I'll point out is across the top, you see the real estate brand, the team brand, and their mortgage partner's brand. They're co-marketing with their mortgage partner, and what they're doing is the second point here, telling the story of a recent client for whom they just closed with down payment assistance help. And I've cut out the pictures here, but they got permission to use pictures and names, and they are telling the story to their social media consumer audience about one of those consumers' peers, Jasmine, who just closed on her first home, got $12,000 in down payment and closing cost assistance. That is such a cool way to tell a consumer there is a path, there are solutions. Maybe you don't qualify yet, but let's at least have that conversation so I can try to help you the same way I just helped this other person whose story I'm telling you about. We love that. We love the fact that they're co-marketing with their lender partners, partnering up to tell these stories, to generate a bigger pipeline, but also to promote the fact that there's help out there. They can provide that help, and there's a path to homeownership for people that maybe are starting to give up or sideline themselves, or they believe in some of these misperceptions like the 20% down myth and so forth. That same team, by the way, sticking with the Twin Cities, this is a screenshot of some of their videos. The main one on the screen, how to find a lender that offers down payment assistance. So agents, this question, it's already come up in chat and Q&A, and it always comes up. If you have a lender partner that you work with frequently, ask them if they have access to any down payment assistance programs. Maybe it just hadn't come up because you didn't have a client that needed or benefited from down payment assistance or qualified for it. But ask your existing lender partners. Also, agents, talk to the state housing finance agency. You can get access to all of the program information through our platform, whether you're using Down Payment Connect or through the MLS or whatever. But ask the state housing finance agency, ask the DPA providers whose programs you want to utilize, ask them who are the lenders who submit the most applications, the best applications in my part of the market. Who are your top producers? Who are the ones that send the best files in? They'll tell you. They may even have a published list of the top producers, the top loan officers in their market. Ask your broker. This team is, working under a larger brokerage and may well have other agents that are looking for a lender that offers down payment assistance. Well, ask your broker. There may be other agents that are working with such a lender that you can get a referral from. So those are just a few ways to uncover lenders. And then, of course, you also have access to links to the participating lender list published on each provider's website through Down Payment Resource and through Down Payment Connect. So a couple other things. I digressed there for a moment, but a couple other things. These are all short videos. They're all 1 minute, and one's in a kitchen, one's in a hallway, one's in the corner of a room. They're all asking and answering very specific questions that a lot of first-time home buyers don't know to ask. And one of them, of course, the main one on the screen is, how do I find a lender that offers down payment assistance? As we saw in the previous example of highlighting success stories, borrower success stories, this agent team obviously works with a lender who's really good at down payment assistance. So they would obviously know how to connect their clients to that lender. Now, those were some examples, but I have more, and some of these are better to look at live. Before I do that, though, I do want to just give you a quick overview of Down Payment Connect, and I want to show you the consumer experience. I'm showing you how to get people to it, but I want to show you what the consumer is actually doing. So just a quick overview of Down Payment Connect. I'm gonna maybe we can put the link in here, Mel, for people that are not a member of one of our MLS partners. But here's what you're getting. So agents, loan officers, all of you, you're gonna get a lead gen landing page. You're gonna be able to get that out to consumers. You're gonna be able to promote the fact that these programs are out there, generate leads, and you get some other basic features. Loan officers, you also control what's out there or what's visible to consumers from among all the programs that might be in that market. And you get an eligibility lookup tool and some comparison tools to find the best program for that buyer. Now, agents is $24 a month, but again, don't pay if you're a member of one of our MLS partners. I will put that list back up on the screen in a few minutes. But if you're not a member of one of our MLS partners, you can subscribe to the tool and take advantage of all these benefits. Loan officers, you get some more capability, and we help you meet some requirements that you face, and that's $39 a month to subscribe. Now, what is the consumer experience? So let me show you this. When the consumer lands on your Down Payment Connect page, this is what they're doing. And then I'm going to show you even more examples here. So they find out down payment money's out there. You tell them that you've got this search tool. They start to use it. Let's say they want to buy in Orlando. Then they type in a location. That can be an address, but it's more likely that these are earlier stage buyers that don't have an address and they're not under contract. So they can search by city or county. So I'm going to go with Orlando. That's all I have to enter just to start that conversation about what's out there in Orlando. But if you watch this program counter box, if I enter $450,000 as a purchase price in Orlando, I start to exceed the purchase price limits of some of these programs. So we will account for that. If they say they want to buy a duplex instead of a single family home, there may still be help out there. This is all going to depend on your market and the programs available in your market. But we can account for property type. If they want to offer their homeownership history, maybe they currently own a home. Well, guess what? We still have almost half those programs in this market, but these programs are not just for first-time homebuyers. In fact, 40% of all homebuyer assistance programs do not have a first-time homebuyer requirement. And remember, for the purpose of down payment assistance, a first-time homebuyer is defined as someone who has not owned a home in the most recent 3 years. And that's even typically further refined to they haven't had titled interest in an owner-occupied property in the last 3 years. Nonetheless, we can account for home ownership history. If they've never owned a home, obviously they're a first-time home buyer. If they owned a home, but it was more than 3 years ago, they're still a first-time home buyer for the purpose of down payment assistance. We can also account for household size and income. So if they plug that in, maybe they start to exceed income limits, we will adjust the results accordingly. Or also think about whether you are working with a lot of veterans, teachers, first responders. There may well be additional programs. Like if I select veteran here, I just found an additional program. My program count went up because of military service. Or let's say teacher, it went up again, right? Now, here's what happens next. The consumer fills out whatever they want to, as long as they provide location, and it's all tied to you. Now, this is my demo link here, but it's all tied to you. The next step is we're going to tell them we found 24 programs or 2 or 7, whatever the number is, and you could get up to however many dollars from the best among those programs in down payment help. Fill out this form, and you're going to connect to that agent or loan officer, you essentially. They're going to connect to you from your Down Payment Connect page. They never saw the list of programs, right? We didn't give them the list of programs and links to their details. We're not sending them down some path that diverts them from you. They fill out the contact form. Only once they fill that out will 2 emails go out. One is the lead to you with the info from the contact form, where they searched, and the names and details of these programs. The second email that goes out is a search confirmation email to the consumer that gives them your contact information and only the names of those programs they found. No links, no details. The only link in that email to the consumer is your email address and your contact info. So now that I've covered that, that's the consumer experience. But I want to show you some more examples of how your peers around the country are engaging with buyers and getting them into this Down Payment Connect flow. This here is in Oklahoma City. Very simple. What you see on the screen is the entire page. This is it. It's that simple. Great splash page. This could be great for, an image on Facebook with a link to it. But this is a page dedicated to trying to get people into that Down Payment Connect search. So just a couple sentences, right? And the obvious big call to action, down payment programs are available. That's message number 1. Hey, by the way, these programs exist. Click the button below, answer some questions, discover all the programs that can help you save and buy sooner. We're trying to expedite home ownership for buyers that are otherwise qualified and maybe have some money saved up, but they maybe need a little help with down payment, or if they could benefit from getting some closing cost help, they can make a more competitive offer. And then, of course, the link to Down Payment Connect. I'm going to click this one time, and then I'm not going to do it for the rest of these, but this is the link. I click it, and that was Tara's Down Payment Connect site. Everything that happens here goes to Tara, only Tara, right? All right, so I'm not going to click the calls to action on the rest of these, but this is a team in Florida. Under their buy menu, they've got a link to down payment assistance. It's that simple. It can be that simple. Just add it to your site navigation menu. They click that, and I'll do it one more time. They're off to Brandy's Down Payment Connect page. Anything they do there goes to Brandy and only Brandy. Same thing here. This is also in Florida under the buy menu. So you can see a trend here, right? Super simple way to get this into your website or to get it in front of consumers is just to add it to your website navigation. Down payment assistance eligibility. I click that. I'm off to Tracy's Down Payment Connect page. Here, same thing, Sacramento. Now, this page is actually a little more dedicated to first-time home buyers. They're talking about what they're trying to do to get more people into homes, especially first-time home buyers in Sacramento. But if I go back to the top, down payment tool at the top of their page, right, in their website navigation. So those are a few examples of just adding it to your website navigation menu. Super simple way to get started and get this out there. Let's look at maybe some nuanced or more detailed examples. Roshana is in the DMV, the capital area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. If I scroll down here, we start to get into some of the services that she offers. Let's see, actually, oh, that one changed. There was one with down payment assistance here, but you can see an example where you could put this, right? Finance, luxury, senior, garages. Okay, we'll add one for down payment assistance. Here we have, this is actually a mortgage broker. So I'm crossing industries here too. These are creative examples of what we're seeing from both lenders and mortgage brokers, as well as real estate agents and real estate brokers. Just a couple sentences. This is the whole page, right? There's a footer, but this is the whole page. There's a graphic, a little bit of content. Down payment programs are available. To see if you qualify, click here. That's the first instance of that button. Grants are available while they last, many different types of programs. Some depend on income. To see if you qualify, complete this form, click here again. So 2 ways to get into the form on the page. Super simple page, didn't require a lot of content. The converse of that, if you will, is this example I showed you a screenshot of earlier. So I'm going to go to Guide to Buying a Home on their website menu, and we're going to go to Down Payment Assistance. Now, this team in Richmond, I mentioned, they produced their own video about down payment assistance, but there's a lot of educational content below this. So did you know that there's down payment help out there? Guess what this graphic is? That's a link to Down Payment Connect. Guess what this text link is? That's a link to Down Payment Connect. Guess what this graphic is? That's a link to Down Payment Connect. So they've woven in access to that DPA search in several places, but they're also talking about family finances, home ownership history, profession, price, location, all these things that can impact eligibility for down payment assistance. It's a great way to educate buyers, give them some content that's going to make them feel more comfortable, maybe reaching out, and more educated when they do. Somewhat similarly, this and the next example are actually blog posts. So this was earlier this year, and this agent has a video where he talks about down payment assistance. He's got some content, as you can see here. He's pulled some data, some graphs, and we're not saying you have to go write an ebook or write out all this content, but we are saying this bubbled up because it gets traffic, it gets lead conversions, and so forth. So feel free to take from these what you will and adapt them to your own market, the programs in your market, your own buyer demographics, and so forth. So I love this. Understand that a 20% down payment isn't always the norm. Absolutely. So start with that, dispel that myth. And then he's got some data here. He's got more content, his contact info. Bottom line, you don't need 20% down. And weave in your Down Payment Connect link to a blog post like that. Similarly, this is a mortgage broker in Montana, making homeownership more affordable. A little paragraph introducing down payment assistance. The graphic is a link to Teresa's Down Payment Connect page, but this is neat. She took an FAQ style approach to asking and answering some questions about DPAs. Pretty basic, right? 4 questions, and then the link to the Down Payment Connect search. So again, just showing you creative examples here. Here's one more blog post. And I'm bringing up blogs because many of you may have a blog and you're always looking for fresh, relevant, current, compelling content. Talk about down payment assistance programs and engage your audience. Get some of those people off the bench and off the sidelines that maybe have started to give up because rates keep going up and everything's so expensive, or I have a student loan, or I don't have 20% down. There are a lot of reasons that aspiring and potentially qualified buyers are not picking up the phone when you call. They're not reacting to your email. If you're an agent, they're not reacting when you're sending them listings. Any one of those reasons, could be why they're not reacting. But if you show them that down payment assistance is out there to perhaps assist with some of the obstacles or overcome some of the obstacles they face or believe they face, that can be a compelling reason to engage with you. So you can see some graphics here. A couple of these are links to the Down Payment Connect page here for Chaz. We go down to the bottom. There's a little bit of educational content, one of our videos geared toward home buyers. And then I love this, instructions. This is it. This is the crux of what we're trying to do. We're here to help you figure out if there are options that might work. Click the button below, enter your household info, get your results, call me. That's it. And then there's the button, right? Again, and it was at the top too. So let's look at a couple other examples. Loan officer. So this is pretty common. Get a quote, apply now. a lot of potential home buyers or borrowers may not be ready to do that because, again, they misperceive their readiness or their potential qualification, or they don't understand how close they may actually be toward or to home ownership. But let them know that down payment help is out there. We see this a lot with lenders, right next to apply now and get a quote. If you're not ready to do that, well, hey, let's look at down payment assistance. Let me show you what's out there, and maybe then you'll kind of rethink your hesitation to have that conversation. Agents, the same logic can apply for you as well. Maybe they're not ready to reach out and have a conversation, but tell them that down payment help is out there, and that might be the thing that compels them to dialogue. Another loan officer here, kind of a similar approach, right? Apply now, contact us, or hey, you know what? If you're not ready, explore down payment assistance, and you're going to get the lead when they fill out the form. So you're going to get the chance to reach out to them anyway. So anyway, that's another creative way of putting the topic in front of them. Here's one more. This is a popover. When a visitor lands on this website, I haven't closed out this popover. I'm faced with this popover first that says, know your down payment assistance options. You could be eligible for numerous programs and receive thousands of dollars in help. Let us help you find it. Here's the link. That takes me to Patrick's down payment assistance search or down payment connect page. And the last thing I'll show you is just one more quick Facebook example. Keep it simple. This is just 3 sentences. Down payment money is out there. Let's find it. Use my tool. Here's the link. Shane is in Detroit, worked well for her. Keep it simple. Doesn't have to be, like I said earlier, an ebook or a research paper, but you've seen examples of how you can leverage educational content to provide more context and to give aspiring buyers the opportunity to self-educate. So that was a lot. I hope that was helpful. Let me give you a few things to round this out, and then we'll address some of the Q&A stuff. All of this is to help you start more conversations. I won't go through everything here, and you guys will get the recording and the slide deck after the webinar, but we went through a ton of different ways to engage with and educate aspiring home buyers or prospective home buyers about the journey and the potential path to homeownership and about down payment solutions that can help them get there. So take advantage of these ideas, make them your own, adapt them to your market and to your audience and to your marketing media, and run with it. Also, leverage the experts. Find lenders who meet those 3 criteria. They offer DPA, they're good at DPA, and they want your DPA business. And again, I'll pause here and digress just to cover this one more time. If you're looking for a lender, if you're an agent and you're looking for a lender that can help you, talk to your existing partners. They may have these programs. Talk to your broker, talk to your agent peers. They may have a referral to a lender that they work with that meets those criteria. Talk to the DPA program providers. They may have a published list of top producers. Those are the folks that do the most volume, close the most DPA loans, and are clearly good at them. Also, use Down Payment Resource. Use Down Payment Connect. If we're integrated into your MLS, click the down payment button there, open up any program. The first thing we show you is who those participating lenders are as published by the program provider. Second, work with the program providers, not just to identify lender partners, but also to get involved with networking events, with training opportunities, to learn more about their programs. They can be a great benefit for you as well. They may, in some cases, have marketing material that you can use. And to that point, highlight information about some of those programs in your marketing. It doesn't have to be a deep dive. Again, agents, we're not trying to make loan officers out of you, but it doesn't hurt to get to know the basic benefits and boundaries of a given program if you think it's valuable to you and your clients in your market, and then talk about that in your marketing. And lastly, most buyers who access down payment assistance, they have to complete a home buyer education class. We would encourage you to attend some or all of that class with one of your clients, if for no other reason than to learn the content that's being presented in that class to aspiring buyers and absorb that into your own marketing. Also, another resource and another way to connect with lenders who offer these programs, join our Facebook group. Mel, maybe we can put a link to this in the chat. But this Down Payment Insiders group on Facebook is filled with over 11,000 agents, loan officers, even some housing counselors and DPA providers all over the country, talking about and sharing best practices working with DPAs, how to find a lender. There's a lot of networking going on in this Facebook group, agents and lenders connecting in their markets. A lot of people are sharing, obstacles they faced and how they overcame them, and successful marketing practices. So we encourage you to listen in and learn. We encourage you to share and teach, and we encourage you to join a network with everyone else that's in the Down Payment Insiders Facebook group. We just put a link in the chat to that page, and we encourage you to check that out. Here's the list of MLS partners. So we showed it earlier. I've referenced it a number of times. We're full on integrated into your MLS if your MLS is listed here. There are a couple of associations that are not MLSs, but if your MLS is listed here, you have Down Payment Connect for free, and we are fully integrated into your listing system, your MLS system, such that you can see a down payment button, that $sign that I showed you earlier, on any eligible property and click it to see what's out there. And from your MLS dashboard, you can access Down Payment Resource and get your Down Payment Connect link for free. If your MLS is here, please don't pay for Down Payment Connect. If they're not, I'll give you a link here in just a moment. But I want to wrap with this. These are a couple of agents around the country who have kind of unique stories, and I'll keep it quick. But Amber first started in real estate and found that her peers were aspiring home buyers, but didn't have a lot saved up. They were younger home buyers. They didn't know a lot about down payment assistance. Amber connected with a few lenders that offered these programs and learned the ropes with several of the DPA programs in her market, and built her business doing exactly that. Raul, we actually saw two examples. He's in Austin. We saw his checklist, and we saw his FAQ drip campaign on Facebook. He got out of the military, started in real estate, and realized there had to be better ways to help veterans purchase homes and navigate the process. And he came up with some of those things that we saw in order to do that on behalf of veterans. Great examples of leveraging down payment assistance and some of these tactics we've seen to grow one's business. So we encourage you to take all that into account and think about how you can grow your pipeline and enhance your business and tap into new markets. If you need to subscribe to Down Payment Connect, you can do so at downpaymentresource.com/DPC. So with that, we've got about 8 minutes left. Here's our contact information. If you need to reach out to us afterwards, if you have questions we don't get to here, then you can reach out to us at info@downpaymentresource.com. And with that, Mel, Tracy, any themes in Q&A that you want to address? I couldn't really keep track. There have been so many questions.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, there have been a lot of good questions. First thing I will address, because we always get it a lot. I know it's a lot of information and it goes pretty fast. We do record the session, and we will be sending out a recording of the session along with the slides to everyone that registered. You should receive that at some point tomorrow. So be on the lookout. Sean, honestly, I haven't seen a lot of themes. We've just had some really good questions. And if you want to start, we still have a ton coming in. So if you want to start, I think Tracy and I both marked a couple in Q&A that we thought would be good to answer live. And then we'll just keep answering, unless Tracy's seen some themes, we'll just keep answering.
Okay. So yeah, let me take a couple off the top here. So Lynn asked, our in-house loan officer, so Lynn's an agent, our in-house loan officer stated that if clients use the DPA, rates will be higher. Is that true? That is program specific. There is one way of funding a DPA that involves essentially premium pricing, where the rate goes up to offer the DPA, can still offer a very valuable scenario. I would say this, Lynn, and to anybody who faces this, because these programs exist in every state where sometimes the rate is higher. That is not universal, first of all. That's just one of many ways that some of these programs are funded, and you're typically going to see that from some of the programs from your state housing finance agency, but typically not all, because some of the other ones are funded through bond money, which is different. And there you may see below market interest rates. However, I would say this: do you have a transaction? Do you have a buyer, if not for that down payment assistance? So if they can qualify at a quarter point higher and get 3% of the price toward DPA, and that's what creates that transaction for you, that's what makes them a buyer, then you've got a buyer, you've got a transaction, they qualify, you did what you could, right? So I would just leave it at that, Lynn. That's most certainly not a universal way that DPAs work, but yes, it is legitimate. There are some programs where the DPA is actually funded through a slightly higher first mortgage rate. But my answer to that is always the same. Do you have a buyer if they don't get that DPA? Because if you don't have a buyer, you don't have a transaction, you don't have a paycheck, right? So anyway, that's something you have to weigh against, other options that are available for that buyer. Not everybody's got family money they can access or assets they can liquidate. So, some people need those DPAs and they're very popular. All right. So let's see. Vianney asked, she's in San Diego. Will using DPA programs affect the competitiveness of my offer? That's one question. Second question, will closing be delayed, essentially, or will it take longer to close if I use a DPA? So let me address the first one. Will DPA programs affect the competitiveness of my offer? Two things. One, don't disclose what you don't have to on any real estate forms. However, you all know your own state and your own state's forms. They're different across the country. Disclose what you have to, but don't disclose any more than that. Also, think about this. If that down payment assistance program allows the funds to be used toward closing costs, let's say you've got 20 grand in down payment assistance and you want to put 10 of that toward down payment and 10 toward closing costs, if the program allows it, well, then actually, yes, you do have a more competitive offer because you're not asking the seller for closing costs, which is going to be a less competitive situation for your client if they have to rely on the seller to cover closing costs. So I think part of the concern is if I put it in the offer, they're going to see it. Yes, we know the sellers balk at that. So actually, Vianney, I'll give you another tip here. We hear from loan officers all over the country all the time. The ones that are the best at DPA, they'll get on the phone, they'll call the seller, they'll call the listing agent, and they'll say, hey, look, I do these loans all day long. You signed a contract for 30 days. We're closing in 25. I know what I'm doing. We're good to go. Leverage your loan officer. And then to your second question, Vianney, will closing day be longer than average if I use a DPA? That depends on the program, but I'll harken back to what I just told you. We hear from loan officers every single week. I do events with loan officers that say this as well. They're going to close on time if they know what they're doing. There are very few programs out there that have some sort of weird stipulation that takes more time. By and large, most of these DPA programs, they want to close. They want to keep lenders and agents and buyers happy too. So they do more and more to automate their process and to streamline their process. That's one trend we didn't really cover earlier. Anyway, that was a long answer to the question, but I hope that helps. Sean asked, I'm licensed in multiple states. Can I use just one link from one of your MLSs to capture leads in all states? No. If you're a member of one of our MLS partners, your Down Payment Connect link is bound to the footprint of that MLS. If you're a member of multiple MLS partners, you would end up with multiple links. Sean, maybe there's a scenario there where, you could subscribe. I'm not trying to tell you to subscribe. You have it for free. Please don't take that wrong. But if you need to bundle up states, depending on how many you're talking about, you can subscribe to up to 4, but then you're talking $39 per month per state. So Sean, maybe email us at info@downpaymentresource.com and give us a little more intel there, and we can see if there's a better solution for you. Okay, let's see. Tyrone asked, Fannie has a 5% conventional loan, 5% down conventional loan for 2 to 4 unit properties. So duplex, triplex, quadruplex. Can DPA be used for this? Yes, in some cases. There are plenty of programs. Mel, maybe you know this off the top of your head, but I want to say plus or minus 30% of all homebuyer assistance programs at this point allow for the purchase of 2 to 4 unit properties. But Tyrone, with the caveat that the buyer has to own or occupy one of those units. So yes, certainly possible. Depends on the program. Let's see. Erica asks, are there programs available for I-10 borrowers? Some. There are fewer than sort of the general public, but there are some. Erica, I'd refer you to your loan officer and have a discussion about where those opportunities may exist. Jessica asked the same question. Angela asks, how do you use it on ADUs and guest houses? Angela, that's a little different because you buy a property and then you can build an ADU or a guest house on it to rent to others. There are some programs. There's an interesting program in California that allows that helps finance ADUs, but yeah, obviously you have to own the property to then build the ADU on it. So again, I'd point you to info@downpaymentresource.com. Maybe give us a little more context. Tell us what state you're in, and we can explore that further. But if you're in California, California Housing Finance Authority has an interesting program that could potentially help. All right, so that's everything that was outstanding. Mel, Tracy, anything else you want to cover real quick before we wrap up?
Nothing on my end, Sean.
Okay, Tracy. I mean, yeah, Mel.
No, the only thing I was gonna say is we've had a couple of questions about like help with web pages and getting your link set up in your email or using social media, etc. We certainly can help with that. To the best of our knowledge, at least, of course, there are a million different email and website providers out there, but we'll do the best we can to help. And I would just suggest that you contact us at the email address on the screen. So info@downpaymentresource.com, and we're happy to help get you set up with Down Payment Connect.
Yeah, and I'll reiterate. I mean, we're not in the business of designing websites, but we will help to the extent that we can. Reach out to us if you have a question, though, and also reach out to maybe if you've got a website administrator or a webmaster, maybe they can help. Maybe your broker's got a resource that could help. We realize that, not everybody has the same resources. So we'll do our best, reach out. Let's see what we can do for you. So I do want to address this one last time. I keep seeing questions. Do I have to subscribe? Do I have to pay? Let me go back to this. You do not have to pay for Down Payment Connect if you are a member of CRMLS, Stellar MLS in Florida, Real MLS in Jacksonville, MLS PIN in Massachusetts, One Key in New York, HAR in Houston, FMLS out of Atlanta, CVR in Richmond, North Star in the Twin Cities, Spokane in Washington, Northwest MLS in Seattle, Real Comp out of Detroit, Greater Lansing in Michigan, MyBoard in Indianapolis, Austin Board of Realtors, Actress MLS in Texas, Greater Alabama in Birmingham, and Sabor in San Antonio. If you're a member of one of those MLSs, we are fully integrated and you have Down Payment Connect for free. Now, I did mention there are 3 associations on here that are not MLSs, KCRAR in Kansas City, NYSAR in New York, and CAR in California. Those aren't MLSs. We're not integrated there. Our partnerships are different with them. You don't get Down Payment Connect through that. We have more MLS partnerships in the hopper right now, so stay tuned for that. If your MLS is not listed here, you can subscribe at downpaymentresource.com/DPC. I saw questions about the numbers. Yes, it's $24 per month for an agent per state. Most of you are only going to subscribe to one state. And for loan officers, it's $39 per month, again, per state, but most of you are only going to do business in one state. If you have any questions about that before you subscribe, if you think you need to, or if you're a member of one of those MLS partners, again, reach out to us at info@downpaymentresource.com, and we will absolutely help you out. I hope this was helpful. Thank you all for joining very much. If you have any further questions, there's our email address. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next webinar.